Hi everyone. Hi, my witness is asking for the password to join. Could I please have it? Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, do we have everybody here? Oh, what's going on? Hello?
Hello.
Anybody
Yeah,
here?
I think so. I'm not sure who else is joining.
Well, the people who are joining are the ones you want to testify, so is everybody that you want to be here
Oh,
here?
yes, Marcelli is here. Marcelli are the other people that just wanted to see are here.
Well, if
I did share the link. They should be coming soon,
Okay, thank you.
but I'm the
Hi,
only
everyone. Oh,
moderator.
and happy Veterans Day, everyone.
okay, well, do we have everybody here that you want to speak?
A lot of the speaking is going to be Marcelli because she knows me the best out of everyone on campus, and I probably taught yeah, and I do have like emails from different professionals that I do want to show everyone, like my phys
Well,
like
I'm really asking you, is there anybody else
oh,
here who's not here that we're waiting for?
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Um, okay, well, we're here on a post-suspension hearing for you, Yacoob
Mhm.
Motan. Um, so really, this is your opportunity to present documents or witnesses, any evidence that you think is going to be relevant for us to make a determination in
Mhm.
upholding it, holding the suspension, overturning it, modifying it. Um,
Okay.
and when we're done here, we're going to hear from the complaining witness because they've asked to be anonymous, so they're not going to speak during the open session.
Okay. I
So you
respect
can,
that. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Yacoob. Nice to meet you guys. I've met a lot of you. I have interviewed some of you, but hi. So essentially the complaining witness I she wants to stay or the complaining witness wants to stay anonymous. I respect that decision. I don't want to um pr- um overstep what the complaining witness wants. So one of the complaints was that I had physically tried to intimidate, but I want to give the whole backstory. So there was no physical intimidation at first. It all started from the complaining witness looking at my phone and seeing a thing I added to their surname, which I want to go back and add that I am of Persian descent, and a lot of my friends through MSA, ISA are Iranian and they speak Persian. And I had learned a new word from them and my family as well. And that word was um Gaderi, which I understand in from Punjabi root in India and in the Punjab sect in Pakistan. There is a negative connotation to that word, but when relating it to a surname, it actually means capable, and I want to show proof for that, so I will be share. It says only the host can share in the meeting, Jacob. I am unable to share because it says only the
you
host can
should
share.
you should be able to.
Okay, thank you. So I want to start off by showing here screen share. That would be easier. Sorry for
Okay,
that.
well, before you do that, I just want to remind you, I don't want you to put anything on the screen that's going to identify the witness.
Yeah,
So
no,
do not do not do that.
I deleted all of the screenshots. You don't need to worry. Um, there are just the photos of like
Right. I don't want you to, even if it's accidental, I don't want you to
yeah.
do that.
No, I deleted all of everything that could demonstrate that okay, this is the witness. Or this is my friend who is complaining or not complaining. I forgot the word. I'm so sorry. Um, is the accuser. So here is the root word that I had written. It's Gaderi, which can be both spelled with an H and an A, and oh, sorry, right here, and it means capable and powerful in Persian and Iranian naming. And most South Asian, it's actually really interesting and cool. Most South Asian Muslims are actually of Persian descent. So most Pakistani and Indian Muslims are of Persian descent. And my great grandfather was actually born in Iran before he had moved to India, then later Burma. But I don't need to share that. But I wanted to connect more with my Persian descent and Arabic descent just off of the fact that most of my friends, or through MSA, ISA, most of my Muslim friends on campus are of Arab descent and they speak Arabic. So I wanted to connect a bit more and learn a bit more Arabic. And this was one of the first words I had learned because yes, I can read Arabic, but Quranic Arabic, but I don't understand Quranic Arabic. But it's the Quran was written in Arabic, so that's the side note. And then it's kind of like the word camina, which in Spanish means he or she walks, or it goes to a walk. But then you go to Urdu, and it means lowly, mean, dishonorable. So it's just different, or it's language differences, same word, but different definitions in different languages. But the word I had written, I attached to their surname and it meant capable. And this, I had added this after this individual had helped me a lot through one of the classes, one of the many classes we have taken together in the past, or I don't want to specify which one because that will greatly show who it is. But and then also the accomplishments they had made, which I see through things like Facebook, Instagram, because I do keep my notifications on for their posts because they were my friend and I keep notifications on for all of my friends' posts. And then also, here's the definition if people want it. Qadari, or you could spell it two ways, and there's also the Arabic definition as well. And if you see meaning capable, powerful, able to, and also relates back to a popular like a big family in Iran or the Qadr family. So that and they're very highly respected and honorable in the country of Iran or just general overall Persia, which later became Iran. And then here's the Hindi definition, which also there can be bad words to it, but then there's also the like some like relates to like food, cane bits, like all this stuff that is on here. And I'm using the same method that the accuser had used to kind of get their interpretation of the word, which was through ChatGPT. And here's a summary of that
Okay,
word.
I'm gonna cut in here for a second. I mean, I don't want us to spend too much
Oh
time
no,
on this. We're really,
I'm done with this part. I'm done with this part now.
okay.
I
I
just
just,
want
I
to
want to
talk.
make sure we're talking about relevant things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's
No,
move
this
this along
this
a
is
little
just
bit.
lead. This is leading into the relevant, and then here, I'll say the accuser then had left out of a fit of anger and left the room or left to the other side and left the room. And I had messaged the accuser just because the accuser was my friend, and I had messaged the actual definition, but there was no response. And this being, I was in a very joyful mood because, and like it was in a painful but joyful mood because it happened to be the first day that I had actually walked without a crutch and walked with a cane, but I had done so on account that from major walking, I would take the school shuttle, so I had limped over, which was difficult for me because I have the avulsion fracture to my fifth metatarsal, which I can show right here, which is the first X-ray that I had gotten. It is written right there, which was in early August, and then there is more proof
And
from my
looks like
physical.
Camille wants to ask you a question.
Yes, yes, please. Answer.
Hi. I heard you say the other party walked away in a fit of anger. I
Yes.
don't think I heard you explain why they were angry. You could.
Because they saw the word and because I am of brown complexion, they had thought it was a word in Hindi, so they searched it up in ChatGPT and the negative connotation of that word showed, and they had left in anger, and I had felt horrible because it was a miscommunication. I meant to do the Persian word because I am also of Persian descent, being my great great grandfather was Persian, and um, yeah, so that was why they walked out of a fit of rage. And I am a person, for anyone who knows me, I'm a person who does not like to extenuate arguments or really have arguments last longer than a day. So I wanted to go explain because I had messaged the accuser, but there was no response. So I thought they had not seen my messages. So I just wanted to in person explain. So I went over to the next room. I had crushed over with my cane, and then I also have foot drop, which there it is proven right here on my UCSF my chart, foot drop bilateral, which I had gotten from my car accident. And here's a picture from my what I looked like after my car accident in 2020. And here's I have more proof about that, but I had not known they felt uncomfortable, so I had walked over, or I slowly crushed over, which is where I want to bring in um my witness Marcelli, who has seen me walk, who has seen me communicate to both who has also seen me communicate one on one to the accuser and also speak about the accuser in a good manner and has seen how I walk with this injury, which my family says I walk like a baby or a penguin waddling around because of my foot drop on my right foot and my fracture or my avulsion fracture on my left foot, which also has there's a note from my physical therapy proving that I do have right-sided foot drop. Here's a physical therapist from a highly accredited physical therapist from Land's End Physical Therapy.
Well, before we move on, you
Yeah.
you um, stopped the narrative right as you were walking into the other room. What happened after that?
I had continued walking, trying to show the accuser, but then when they said they were uncomfortable, I tried explaining and then I walked away. And I had not communicated with that accuser for the rest of the day, or at least I had not attempted to communicate person to person with the accuser. And even
What did they say to you when you were in the room?
they said, "Oh, I feel uncomfortable." So I respected that they feel uncomfortable and I had left because they are my friend and I don't want them to feel uncomfortable.
Did they say that more than once?
I believe it was once or twice, but I believe it was just once. It might have been twice, but I don't remember. But
How long was it between when they said that and you left the room?
when they said that, I slowly turned around and I was slow at walking, so it took a while for me to walk out the room, but I walked out the room. I had no intention of communicating further with them because I wanted to respect their privacy and how they felt, so I left and I went back to the other room where our class was going on. And that is all that it ended with.
Well, give me a sense of how long that took.
I had got before they had mentioned that I had gotten to like halfway down the room. That was like 3 minutes because I walk very slowly.
Well, no, I want to take it in sequence. You walked into the room.
Oh,
You
I
walk into the room. This
yeah,
other person asks you to leave. How
yeah.
long between those two events was it?
I straight turn around and walk
No,
out
no,
the
no, no.
room.
You're skipping ahead. How long was it between the first two things?
You mean how long it took for them to say, I feel uncomfortable?
That's what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. When I got to the middle of walking down around there, or like the first third, I believe, then they said it, so I walked out. That's I
And
don't
how
know.
long?
I didn't keep track of time because I was walking with a crutch in one hand, phone in the other, trying to communicate with them before they had said they feel uncomfortable. So I did not keep track of time. But estimate it was like 2, 3 minutes, and I had walked out after that, they said. But don't quote me on that because I do not believe I do not cannot for sure say exactly how long it was. There could be varies in opinions between me and the aggressor because yeah,
Um,
or
okay.
not the aggressor, the
And then
accuser. Apologies for saying aggressor. I meant accuser.
are you saying you don't know how long it was, or are you saying it was 3 minutes?
I don't know how long it was, but if I were to guess, it would be like 2, 3 minutes, like 2 to 3 minutes. But I am unsure. I do not want like that's what I'm trying to say
And
is
how
I
many times was it that they asked you to leave? You said once,
once
twice,
once or twice. I don't remember exactly how many times, but it was once or twice. I don't believe it was more.
either once or twice, and you don't know which.
Yeah,
Okay.
because it was a while ago and with other and I had left and I'd respected the decision and I had not tried to communicate with them aside from one moment where I did have a question. And when they said they cannot talk to me, I said, okay, thank you. And then after when they had recently messaged me about a class that I'm currently taking, so I respectfully replied with whether it was easy or not. Aside from there, I had not communicated with the accuser. And I had tried my best to disassociate any way possible, any Valiant communication I had possible. And any question I had about Valiant, um, I had requested they communicate to the person who I saw best fit to answer their questions.
Okay. When you're in this room with the other person, what was the demeanor of the other person?
They were on their computer. They said they were in a or like a meeting or something like that. They were just on their computer and they were sitting on a table that was in the central center of the classroom. And I had went from the door at the back of the classroom.
Were
And
they were they calm? sad?
They
What
they
sort of
they
demeanor?
looked like their resting face, if I were to be honest. I was unable to see whether they were calm or sad. At that moment, I just had one thing in my mind, and that was to kind of make sure this miscommunication is um is resolved. And so, because I did not want this miscommunication to affect our friendship, because I care so deeply about our friendship.
All
And
right.
once they said they feel uncomfortable, I had left.
All right. You can go ahead with calling whoever you were going to call then.
Okay. So, this was the physical this is physical therapist booth, but I want to call Marcelli because she is probably the person I speak most to um this semester, and she actually has seen a conversation between myself and the accuser in person, and then also I talk about overall Valiant with her in general, which includes the accuser, and yeah. So Marcelli, if you want to speak more about um the physically intimidate question.
Well, before you do that, I'm going to ask her, were you there when this happened?
No, she was not. Marcelli?
Oh, I'm supposed to answer. No, I wasn't there, but am I not a witness to his character? Or are you
Well,
asking me to be a witness to the exact event?
I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just trying to figure out what you're going to tell us. But if you're a character witness, then go ahead and talk about that.
Okay. Um, I mean, before I dive into like what I have to say about him, I feel like I really want to just know that that line of questioning was, I don't know, very repetitive, and the fact that you interrupted him for being
No,
a little repetitive.
I don't want you to go into this. This is you're not going to opine on our questions. If you want to testify, then tell
I'm
us what you want to testify.
testifying. I only have one question. I mean, do you remember everything he said about himself?
We're not here to answer your questions. If you want to
Fair enough.
testify,
Okay.
then
Okay.
tell us what you
So
want
I
us to
have
hear.
to say that I have witnessed someone straight up yell at him, and he wasn't in the wrong. He was just trying to comfort the person because he was sad, and the person yelled at him, and he apologized to that person. He said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, like my brother, like I will give you all the space that you need. I just wanted to comfort you. I'm so sorry." And this is repeated behavior that he has. I've never seen him raise his voice once. He's a very respectful student, a very respectful person outside of class, and everything that he does is to just represent himself as a Muslim. And I think what's being described is, I mean, attack on his character. And I mean, realistically, I think it is racially motivated. I think it is biased based on the fact that he is a brown Muslim. And
You know, I'm going to
I
cut you
think
off
that if
again.
I'm interrupted
Hang
on that,
on.
I think that just proves my point.
Hey, okay,
Sure.
hang on a
And
second.
then wait,
No, no, no.
one more. Sorry,
Hang
Jake.
on a second, because you can talk about his character. That's fine. I don't want you to speculate about our motivations, whether this is racially motivated. So I'm going to cut you off here. We're going to interpose our own objection. Do not talk about that. If you want to talk about his character, go ahead and talk about that. All right, I'll let you keep going.
Wait,
You're still muted.
am, am I still muted? I unmuted.
Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, what can I say that you will allow me to say? I mean,
You're
yeah,
welcome
there's
to
not
say
much
anything
more
you
I
want
can
about his
say
character.
besides the fact that he's a very calm person. And in any situation where someone has been the aggressor, it has never been him. And he has always tried to alleviate the situation. And he is a very proud Muslim man, and he follows, again, what Muslims represent. is, peaceful lifestyle. And I think he does a very good job at being a very peaceful man. I mean, to testify on another thing on what he was saying about him having a limp, he does have a cane and he is going through physical therapy. And so I just want to state that, yeah, he walks very, very slowly. He's a little bit hunched over too, just because he's in a lot of pain walking. Just want to note that as well. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't think there's much more I can say besides there's only positives to say about him. There's not much more I can say that you will allow me to say. And I just want to end on that. A lot of people are here that I personally invited, and I just want to state that on the record as well.
Okay, well, thank you. You're welcome to say anything you want that's supportive of his character. The only thing I'm not going to allow is I don't want you to speculate about our motivations about the process. If you have anything else you want to say, now's the time to say it.
Can I have the recording after the meeting is over?
You have a copy of the recording.
Okay, thank you.
The recording is going to get released, but not the complaining witness when they testify. Okay, if you have anybody else who want to speak, you can have them speak now. Is there anything else you want to present to us or any other person you want to talk to us? Marcelli, if you're trying to talk, then you're muted, but I was talking to Yacoob.
Oh, I was on mute. Apologies. If you can still see my photo, um, or my screen shows, um,
No, we can't see if you're trying to share something.
it's anyway. I'll retry this. But what I will be showing you now is I had been scrolling through this while Marcelli was talking as well. But can you now see or can you now see my screen? Hello? Can you now
No,
see?
we can, yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So this was an email that someone who has this is also an attest to my character. Someone who has known me for 12, like about 20 years. Like we are not friends, but we grew up in the same community. And they know they have many things to say about me that may be negative, but there are also many positive things like this, where they had said, "To whom it may concern, I am offering a testimony on behalf of Yacoob Modan regarding his allegations of direct hostility. As of 11/5/2025, Yacoob had a fractured foot and was using a cane to walk. He was unable to move without assistance and was not in a state where he appeared physically intimidating." This relates back to the question where I tried to physically intimidate the accusing witness, because there is no possibility I could intimidate them because I was in so much pain physically walking, and I was using a cane a lot, and I was also walking with foot drop, which made it especially difficult for me to walk. Yacoob is community oriented. He held positions in many community groups, such as the Muslim Student Union at SF State University, where he has always advocated for peaceful conflict resolution. Yacoob and I were raised together. I have known Yacoob for almost 20 years. He is a strong Muslim, and we were raised to never speak to others in such a manner. This relates back to me being accused that I had yelled at the accusing witness. I have always known him to be kind and peaceful and never to act in such a way. And then next after this, I want to bring a testimony made by another nonprofit org that which I have been volunteering with for around 4 years. And with this org, I do community outreach where I do speak to many people, including other volunteers and uh, um, assistants in the org, other students. You may have seen me outside the library or bookstore with a clipboard, or just doing spegs in other classrooms, speaking with other professors, speaking with a variety of different physicians and hospital owners. And here it says, to whom it may concern, my name is David Miller, Operations Manager for Physicians Organizing Committee in San Francisco. I have worked with Yacoob for nearly 4 years in our efforts to organize physicians for better patient care. We have worked together on numerous high stress projects in a variety of settings. I have never known him to raise his voice at anyone, and certainly never intimidate or threaten anyone. I am certain that whatever misunderstanding or misinterpretation, apologies for the mispronunciation, but misinterpretation led to current actions being taken against him can be easily and quickly resolved. Thank you. And then I just want to show um, of my chart thing of that says I do have foot drop from my car accident in 2020. That this is a picture of my result after. So that was might have been another reason why it may have looked like I walked aggressively, even though I just walked with a massive limp when I had when I had tried communicating with the accuser. And then here is further proof about my injuries and that it would be highly unlikely that I was able to walk and try to intimidate the accuser and walk in an intention to intimidate the accuser, because here it says from Land's End Physical Therapy on Gary Street, San Francisco, from the primary physical therapist there, to whom it may concern. And for reference, I had physical therapy the day before. This letter serves to verify Mr. Yacoob Madan sustained significant avulsion fracture to the fifth metatarsal on the left ankle on August 23rd, 2025. Due to the nature of the injury, his gait has been significantly impacted and impaired. As of November 4th, 2025, Mr. Modan has been weaning off the use of crutches, which I do have with me right now, my crutches, which I do use at home when I am not wearing a carbon fiber insole in my shoe, because I still cannot walk without a carbon fiber insole in my shoe without major pain and instability and risk of falling. But crutches in his current is currently ambulating with the assistance of a cane. In addition, he is experiencing chronic right-sided foot drop, which is where I cannot dorsiflex my foot, so I have to raise up my foot higher. And for reference, my fracture is on my left foot and my foot drop is on my right foot, which further affects his mobility and overall gait stability. So I wanted to use and then here's proof that this is from Lands End Physical Therapy. The scan is right there at the bottom of the page. And if you want to call them and ask them yourselves, and for future reference, this is their number, their address, and their text line. And then here's more proof about my fracture. And here's me with my cane. And in my shoe, there is a carbon fiber insole. And more proof about that. And this is picture was actually taken day of the incident, so 11/5/2025, because I had taken a photo of what my foot had looked like, and as you can see, there's major swelling to prove that um I was like it. There's no way I could walk in an intimidating way to the accuser. And now I want to go over the second accusation against me, which I could speak more verbally on, if you can. Um, but the second accusation was that I had yelled at the accuser, which, if you know me, I believe um most of you do. I have yet to meet most of you in person, aside from very few of you, including. But I have met a lot of you in person, such as yourself, Jacob, at Phil's Coffee. But if you ever speak to me, I tend to talk in a very soft, pitched voice. And for most of the executive board members who I did interview, they know that during our interviews, I had just spoke only positively about the accuser, and or I speak positively about the overall org, and I throughout the process I had full faith of their abilities to lead their certain sections. whether it be Kaylee with her outreach or Maka with finances or Raquel and I had there was actually a moment where there was a disagreement between two um, uh, executive board members about their positions. So I had figured out a way where both have a position on board on the executive board because I believe they both were amazing, and I think if I'm allowed to say their names, it would be Raquel and Samantha or Sammy, I forget which one. Um, for their respective positions, and I had actually created a new position so both who could work they could work together very closely together, but they would have different roles that could better serve Valiant Foundation and help Valiant Foundation grow. And throughout this process, I never, you could ask them, I had never yelled, I had never raised my voice. I had tried to be as um, respectful as possible and try to make everyone happy because that is who I am, a people pleaser. And yes, during the time, if you check on one of the photos I had sent to you guys with screenshots, there was a moment where on information that I had came into Valiant working on, which was um it was the diabetes or it was endocrinology and diabetes study, and I had taken a little break because I had got left the country and then I started working on the essay study, but then later I found out that all the work I did was copied to a different page, and there were two other people who were like at the time listed as authors on that page, and they had not worked on that before, like with the other people who worked on it beforehand. And I don't believe anyone aside from two were informed that this was happening. So I was not mad at anyone, and I had listed that in one of the screenshots I had sent you to the accuser, and I had specifically said in that screenshot, I am not mad. I am just angered, which means I what I meant by that was I was upset and I was like distraught and like hurt. And I want to bring Marcelli in for bringing up another point on this because I did speak to her about this and how hurt I was about this. Marcelli, you can speak now.
Um, I mean, yeah, I was actually talking to someone else about the situation, not anything that I was going to prepare to say today, but I was joking about the fact that he was clearly upset, rightfully so. I mean, human nature to be happy, sad, angry. I think that's reasonable. He was clearly upset, but didn't show it. It wasn't externally towards anyone. He didn't attack anyone, like, or their character. When he was complaining about it, he was saying he was upset for himself. And I think that is completely, I mean,
Okay.
valid. And he was very calm and collected the
Mhm,
entire time he was talking about the
mhm,
situation. I couldn't picture him being
mhm,
anything but.
mhm. Yeah, and I had also, because I had learned over, I don't know, it's been 5 years since my accident, over a 5 year span, that I need to open up to my friends about how I am feeling. So the two people I felt closest to in the org were were the accuser and another person, and I have sent you their messages. I will not name the other person because I don't know if they want to be named. If they do feel comfortable being named, they don't need to speak, but they could speak up now.
No,
Um,
you shouldn't name them.
yeah,
Do not.
Thank you.
okay, okay. Thank you. Oh, hello, Tessa. Um, but I had messaged them about how sad I was feeling, and because I had that week, I had so much emotional, like pain, and I felt so disrespected, and I felt so hurt emotionally, and I was I was very like sad and not like depressed, but it was leading to a depressive state that I had been in prior after my accident and my grandmother passing away and my best friend slash brother passing away in the same month. And I had verbally distressed this to the accuser, and also the other person who I sent it
If
to
I could
speak.
like ask a question, like
Yeah, what's up?
I'm
It's okay, go
completely
ahead.
like unbiased. I don't know. I didn't see none of this. I didn't. Quite frankly, like a little bit. I just came back from work right now. To be
Yeah,
honest with me, I'm just gonna get down to the point. The main thing, please, at the end of the day, we should not be yelling at each other, no
yeah,
matter
and
how dire
Oh, okay.
like
Hey,
at the end of the day.
hang on a second. Hang on a
and
second. If you,
I did
this
not
is,
yell
wait,
at
wait.
the.
Okay, hang on. Let's get. I understand you might want to say something. If you want to speak on that side of the issue in support of complaining witness, you can do that when Yacoob is done. We do want to hear from you. Everybody has a right to be heard by us, but we got to do this in the right order.
No problem. I'll wait.
Par-
I'll wait my turn. No problem at all. I'll wait my turn.
yeah,
It just seems kind
yeah.
of like pedantic. Like, just, oh, yeah,
Okay, thanks.
okay, thanks.
Okay, appreciate that. The complaining witness apparently does want to talk on the record, so we're going to have them do that, and people can stay and listen to that if they have time. So they inform me that they've rescinded their request for anonymity. So anything I've said on that is now moot, apparently. Okay. We did not want to cut you off, Yacoob. You have the right to keep going and present what you want to present, as long as it's relevant and complies with the orders that we gave earlier. So keep going. Is there anything else, or are you done? That was directed at Yacoob.
Oh, there is. Sorry, I was on mute again. Apologies. Um, I wanted to ask, if they requested are they unrequested their anonymity? May I say their name? I don't plan on saying their name, but may I?
Uh, Apparently now you can. They've rescinded their
Okay,
request for anonymity, so
okay, because
all
I
done.
don't okay, because I don't plan on saying their name out of their respect, and because they are my friend and they always have been my friend and friend.
That's
But
your choice, but there's no
yeah,
longer any prohibition
okay.
on doing that. So
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Okay. So here, I'll clarify this. So I had messaged Jeannie and the other person who I don't know if she wants to be mentioned or not, about how I felt and how like life hated me, blah
Oh
blah.
yeah,
Because
no, just to clarify, the other person has not rescinded the request for anonymity. Do
yeah,
not
so
name them.
yeah, so I don't want to name them because they want to stay anonymous, and they know who I believe you know who it is, and they know who it is. Um, but yeah, so I had messaged them about how I felt, and then also because I was very distraught at that time because it was not only going through it related back to prior trauma that I had, but then also still dealing with a avulsion fractured foot, and then also while losing authorship on a study, which I could have worked, but I had stepped back from so I could let others help on it as well. And then also with what had happened with the diabetes study. And then I would want to go back to and everything that I had talked about the physical intimidation that happened in our anatomy class with Jeannie and I, and it was not physical intimidation because I do have a version fracture, and I have mentioned on multiple occasions, which may also be in the messages. I'm not sure if they are on the messages that I'd sent you, but how much it hurt and every major accomplishment I had made in the my rehab and thing I had sent her as well, like my joy of being able to drive my car again, which is a manual transmission. I had sent her and how much pain I was in during that time, even though it hurt like while walking. Um, but this happened during anatomy class in the I believe it was a business building where it was a big room and then right next to was another big room. So she had left to the other room and the big rooms they take a while to go down, or at least for someone who like has an avulsion fracture on his left foot and foot drop on his right foot, it would take them a while to walk down. So when they had said it, I had turned around and left respectfully, and every time that people had messaged me about Valiant Foundation, I had requested they go to Jeannie because I still respect her the most. Like she's probably one of the people, the people I respect the most. And then yelling, going back to the yelling argument, I never yelled at Jeannie or Sarah Jean Valiant. To be I like there is no reason why I would yell. I had communicated my um how I felt hurt, and I had actually messaged her about how I felt and how it related back to my trauma. And I but I had never yelled at her, and that is not who I am. If you know me, I have never yelled at a person in my life. And I believe I have spoken to most of the executive board, whether it be through phone call, Zoom call, or just in person, on a, and like a bear account. I'm a very quiet person, and I think Marcelli can back me up on this. I don't communicate. I don't yell a lot, and I try to resolve issues as much as possible in a non-violent way. And like one of the screenshots I showed of someone who has known me for longer than most, he had said the exact same thing. And just want to clarify, that person is not my friend. We are just people who grew up in the same community. And I think for now that's all I have. If I'm, let me just double check. If I'm not mistaken, and I had sent emails from I had sent screenshots of emails from another nonprofit org that I had been working for 4 years that does involve a lot of communication between different people. And in that, which I had showed David, who is one of the lead people for that, and who I had worked with the most, aside from Sid, um, had said that he does not see me doing that as well. Same with Marcelli, who is the person I likely do talk to most this semester, aside from my parents and my friends from back home. And yeah, and then also yelling. I know that you won't take this into account, but yelling is also forbidden in my religion of Hanafi Islam.
No,
Um,
we don't want to hear evidence about
yeah,
Islamic
so
practices.
yeah, so just the thing is that I don't want to.
We're I
Yeah,
mean, those are things that we can take into account
yeah.
without needing your testimony.
Okay, yeah. So
Um,
you
evident
know, yeah.
information about Islam is public record.
Okay, yeah. So you know that I'm a devout Muslim, and it is fully, and I had emailed this to you as well, that I'm a fully, it is fully against and haram, so forbidden in Islam to yell at a woman or even
No,
talk loudly
please,
to a woman.
no,
Okay,
can
I'm
you
back.
move on to the
Yeah,
next topic, please? We've
I
been over this
okay.
already.
I believe I have spoke about both the yelling and the physical intimidation. And yeah, I don't yell, and I don't understand how I could physically intimidate someone when I walk. When I do, that day I have proof that I was on a cane, and I have foot drop, and I have an avulsion fracture in my fifth or on my fifth metatarsal on the left foot. So I like have a hard time walking, and it pains me to walk. And and I don't know how I can provide more proof for yelling, because it was a one-on-one conversation, and that conversation was not recorded. And I have shown physical proof of people who do know me, who have known me for a long time, who agreed that I am not that type of person. And I believe many of the executive board might also agree with me on that fact that I don't yell at people. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks. Okay, so like I said, the complainant apparently has rescinded their request to be anonymous, but it looks like Kelly has something she wants to say on her behalf, and she has to go soon. So I'm going to let her present Kelly first. Go ahead and tell us what you want to say.
Hi guys. Yeah, I'm so sorry I'm on the bus if it's a little loud. I just wanted to say, I can kind of, I wasn't there for the direct, interaction, but I can speak to the environment of what kind of happened in our foundation. And I just want to say I think it's important to note that it was not just one complaint, it was multiple. And to bring up what Marcelli brought up, I am a woman of color. I did not make a complaint, but I am a woman of color. And the other complaints I heard of were also from women of color. So I just think that should be noted. But that day, I actually ran into Jeannie and ended up walking her to her class because she was shaken after the incident. Um, and I do think it's like what this hearing should be about is the respect aspect, and what I've heard from certain members of my team and what people have expressed to me is they felt disrespected. And I feel like that should be the main thing we're talking about.
I agree with that, and sorry, I don't want to cut in. I agree with that. If I want to ask Jeannie, because I did ask Jeannie if I
So
could.
no, it's not your turn at the moment.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna hear from her now.
That's it. That's all I have to say.
Okay, sweet. Thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Jeannie. What would you like to know from me, Jacob?
Well, you're here to explain the context of the complaint. You can present whatever information you think you want us to know.
Okay. I'd say my experience has been not one big issue. I mean, the end it was rather stressful, but it's been more of a culmination of things. And before I get started, I would like to clarify that I think the message might have gotten lost in our emails, but I do not think Yacoob was trying to harm me in any way physically at all. He came into the room, but it was not with the intent to harm me. I was frightened because he had yelled at me in the past. He had bragged about yelling at me. I think he was yelling at me to intimidate me into making him an author on something, which frightened me. And when he came into the room and continued to get closer to me, it scared me, but I don't think he was trying to harm me. So I guess I'll start at the very beginning. When I first noticed a problem, it was a while back. We were working on a paper about type 1 diabetes, and I was talking to my friends, our colleagues, Angie and Sammy, about being authors on it. And I believe I spoke to Sammy in person on Wednesday, or maybe it was Friday, in person. And I told her, hey, you worked on this paper on sexual assault and you did the PRISMA really well. That would automatically qualify you under the ICMJE criteria. And in lay terms, that's just the gold standard for how authors are chosen on a paper. So I had seen her work in the past. I wanted her to work on this project. I was talking to her in person, so it felt like the right time to bring it up. And then I think Angie called me. I don't really remember what the circumstances were, but I also offered Angie to again work on the Prisma and work on this article too because I had seen her working on another article in the past. Um, so I wanted her to work on the type 1 diabetes paper with me, Jacob, Duran, Samantha, and Yacoob. And I was planning this all occurred sometime between, I don't know, Wednesday and Friday of a given week. And I'd say this is about a month ago. And then I think it was over the weekend. I'm not really sure, but it was before Monday for sure, and after Wednesday. Yacoob called me, and well, he started texting me, and it was making me feel very anxious. He was like just talking about how upset he was that he's not an author on this paper. He was like, "Who's in charge of this? I'm so upset." And he was really, really expressing a lot of strong negative emotions about this. Then we called and talked about it, and he genuinely was raising his voice, very upset that he was not an author, very upset at me that I was not making him an author. And it actually motivated me to ask Dr. Kulik to choose the authorship order and who will become an author at all because I just felt so uncomfortable after this situation. And I totally would uh, think that, sometimes people, it it was a misunderstanding. I was planning on talking to Yacoob that Monday because I was seeing him in person and I wanted to take the weekend off of research. But just he called me, yelled at me. I felt like he was intimidating me and to try to make him an author on a paper. And it made me feel uncomfortable. From then on, I had experienced a lot of people tell me they were having complaints with Yacoob, but I don't need to go into those now because I'm aware that multiple people sent you similar complaints about this exact topic about him arguing about authorship, um, including my advisor. So that's kind of sums up the yelling situation where I felt threatened. Um, and then to move on to some other things like the talking about the situation with him in the classroom. But let me give a little bit more backstory. I'm reading to you a message where I'm redacting all the names and any possible quasi-identifiers so you guys don't know who this is because she works at Valiant Foundation. And do you, ethics committee, do you mind if I read a message?
The only problem with that would be is if it somehow identified the other complaining witness who doesn't want to be identified. Otherwise, it's fine.
Okay. I'll have to thoroughly read this in a moment, but I will say I have ugly cried in front of my boyfriend who is Muslim about the stress and sort of exclusion I felt the night Yacoob began to exclude me. I felt very disrespected in that moment. And previously, she was telling me she felt very degraded by Yacoob, previously talking about this incident. He could tell Yacoob was Muslim by his name, and my boyfriend, who boyfriend also has a spiritual name in Islam. I think it's interesting the justification Yacoob would like to bring as defense using religion. My boyfriend is also a devout Muslim and former teacher of Islam, and he thinks the way Yacoob is spoken to others is not justified by Islam. He thinks it's actually very manipulative. Of course, I haven't shared the full details of the extent with my boyfriend, but if Yacoob was accusing me any more trouble, and I said no, but I found out he was saying really strange things and acting very bad towards other people, and my boyfriend just shook his head no. So that was one experience. My colleague told me she was crying because of Yacoob, making her feel degraded. I have another coworker who was explaining to me that some personal things, and I there are some things that I would like to talk about that are, very important evidence that show a severe and pervasive history of harassment, but I feel like those things are inappropriate to discuss in such a large group of people, and it is a sensitive topic, and I wouldn't want to put Yacoob to make him feel bad because those are personal things.
That's fine. If you want to submit that to us by email, then we can consider it without it being on the public record.
I have a question. May I
And then,
respond to that?
You
Or wait.
you may not respond right now, no.
Okay, thank you.
and then furthermore, he was saying Gadari. I the incident where I talking about walking out of the classroom and him calling me a donkey. To clarify this, um, he put the word Gadari, Jeannie, middle name is Gadari Valiant, and he said, first thing he said regarding that was, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know what it meant. My friends told it to me and I thought it was a good thing." Then he changed it to precisely the word for root vegetable in Hindu. And then he moved on to talking about, I went away, then he texted me, and I believe he was telling me
What it
our
actually meant.
messages.
No, you're not supposed to talk right now.
Okay,
Okay.
apologies.
So it was first talking about how he didn't know what it meant. His friends told it to him, so he didn't know what it meant. He thought it was a good thing. The next thing he did was go on to tell me it meant root vegetable. Um, because then he changed my name in the contact to root vegetable. And then he Googled it. Then I went away, then I was in the classroom before he walked in on me. And then he said it means it is talking about a shepherd or something. It means shepherd, it's a good thing. Either way, had he said it's like if he I honestly am saying, had he said it meant shepherd from the very beginning, I would have believed that because I would believe Yacoob, but he changed his story 3 times. I saw him physically type in the new spelling for it to say Gadar or something along those lines to mean root vegetable. And then he told me it meant something else. So it was just changing it multiple times that I just didn't believe. So I talked to my friend who is also Muslim and Punjabi and Hindi, and he told me Hi, Sarah. Thank you for your patience. Gadar is an insult that means donkey, so that may be it. It's a pretty common insult. Furthermore, looking it up, you can also tell that it does mean donkey, and the only other common use of it is root vegetable. So, the it was just very inconsistent, so it made it harder to believe. Moving on, he to when the rest of that meeting, I was upset because, had he just told me it meant shepherd in the first place, I would have believed it. But either way, it didn't clearly didn't mean that. So I went to the other side of the classroom and was kind of upset with him because my colleagues were saying they felt degraded, uncomfortable, they didn't want to work with Yacoob, that he was causing him a lot of emotional distress. So I was just kind of done. I didn't want to continue to be in a space where I'm being harassed and other people that I care about and have a duty to keep safe because I'm the director of research are being harassed. So I just left. So I went to the other side of the classroom. I would say maybe 10, 15 minutes later, I went out of the classroom to the one adjacent to us. The doors were facing each other parallelly, and they were both open. I went into that classroom to attend virtual office hours on Zoom with a teacher for my endocrinology class. And I was setting things up and I was getting the Zoom ready. And there were two doors to the classroom, the one that I walked in, and then there was one in the hallway. Um, Maybe a minute or two after I walked in, I don't really remember how long, Yacoob walked in the other door to the hallway. And I told him, Yacoob, I am on office hours with my teacher. I cannot talk to you. And he kept walking towards me, and I told him multiple times, I am on office hours with my teacher. I cannot talk to you right now. Please leave. Please leave.
How
Just
many times is multiple times?
I would say between three and four. I think the first two to three were me telling him, please leave. Like stop following me, you're making me uncomfortable. I definitely told him that I was he was making me uncomfortable. He kept getting closer to me and his body language appeared to be friendly. I really do think he was just coming to explain why he called me a donkey. So I was starting to I believe he was being friendly, but it still made me feel scared because he had tried to, from my perspective, intimidate me into making him an author. In the past, he had made my coworkers cry and feel degraded. He was walking towards me with a cane, and I understand he has an injury on his foot, so I really don't think he was trying to hurt me, but being a woman, I still felt afraid. He was getting closer to me, so I literally just left my jacket there. I didn't have time to grab it, and I just briskly walked back to the classroom because I felt scared. I genuinely felt scared. Um, and then I emailed you about it, and then I think that was the end of the interaction. Do you have any questions for me?
Um, yes. So
Wait,
when no, not yet. Okay, so when you were in the other room and you responded, can you describe what your demeanor was like?
Um, oh, sorry, I'm getting messages. Can you repeat that? It was kind of can't hear you.
When you were in the other room and he followed you, can you describe what your demeanor was like?
Um, I think at first it was stern, so I was telling him, please leave, please leave. And then when he didn't leave, like stern and surprised, and then when he didn't leave, I started to feel scared. I don't think I think I forgot to mention, but I was starting to briskly walk away and I like raised my voice and I asked him, like, please leave me alone. Something along those lines. But I know I raised my voice to convey that I wanted to be left alone. I'm having to miss my office hours because he intruded in on me and wouldn't leave. So it scared me.
Did anybody else see or hear that happen?
Yeah, the teacher, sent a statement saying that happened, and he had the recording of me leaving and hearing me raise my voice to Yacoob saying, please, or no, he didn't. He said the recording was choppy, but it sounded like they could hear something. He asked him to please leave.
Okay, and then what you were describing that happened in the classroom, do you know if anybody saw or heard that?
I think so. Yeah, When I walked in, I saw a lot of people look at me and they looked quite surprised. So I assumed that multiple people saw that. And besides the teacher, I think I was speaking to Melanie this morning and she was agreeing that she thought that was really weird because she sits next to the door in the class.
Okay, anybody besides Melanie?
I guess the rest of the classroom because I believe they saw me walk out and were surprised.
All right. Well, if you want to provide us with any of their names to support what you're saying, we'll consider that too.
You can also see the video if you'd like to request it from the teacher.
We'll consider anything you have to offer to us.
And I would like to share some things that they're very personal to Yacoob, but they're very significant to this case, things that really do far cross over the line into harassment. But I would like to share them with the entire committee. Is there a way that I can share those without having to talk about this to everyone?
I would, I think the best way to handle that is to submit it in writing by email to us.
Okay.
May I just add, or if you're done, may I
Well,
speak?
I don't know if she's done yet. Do you have anybody
Okay.
else who's going to talk on your behalf?
Um, one second. I did finally want to mention that Angie, or no, sorry, not Angie, and also is a different person. Um, yeah, my other coworker was experiencing this too, particularly regarding one of the incidents about manipulating us into, well, manipulating me into be an author, but the same tactics. But again, I don't believe it's appropriate because these things are so upsetting that it might offend people in here and make Yacoob feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's fine. Just if you want us to consider it, then submit it in writing. Okay, I mean, was there anybody else here who's going to testify on your behalf, or not? Do you have anybody else to present?
Um, does anyone else here want to talk about it? I know many people in this room have also experienced interactions with Yacoob, like Raquel.
But you don't have anybody else you're going to present.
Oh, no, I didn't realize I could present people, but it's okay. I don't need to.
Okay. Um, all right. So it sounded like Nathan had something he wanted to say before.
Yeah. Kind of after hearing like, even more information too. Uh, I'm like trying to arrange stuff in my room, but I kind of always like in these meetings just try to like hear everyone's story and kind of bring things back to what I feel like is important. I hope important to everyone else, but this usually is important to everybody. But one of the things I would try to bring back to is the fact like of like mutual respect between everybody. And just from hearing all this and words being said, everything being said, I think the most important thing to take away from this is that we need to like always make sure that we're not yelling at people because it creates a lot of more room for things to spill out, as we can see happening now. And again, I don't want to say it's bad with this, but I really did not appreciate just hearing this, but the fact that like religion and race was kind of being used as a way to like kind of not fully but somewhat justify a little bit of what was going on as someone who is a black person, as well as like with multi.
I no, I appreciate that, but I think in all fairness, I'm gonna have to cut you off the same way I cut off them. We are not going to consider those sorts of arguments.
Okay, no problem, no problem.
One way
I'll
or the
just say
other.
I'll say my tiny last bit too, and it doesn't involve that, but it's just that's beside the point.
No, I understand and I
Yeah, of
appreciate
course,
it.
of course.
Do
I'll
you
lay that.
have,
That's all you need.
well, did you see anything relevant to this, or is there anything that you can personally testify to that's relevant?
Oh no, that's why I was saying I didn't get to say it before. Kelly said most of what I was going to say, so I just thought I'd say my last little bit, but no, it's perfect. That's all. That's all. If it's not relevant for this topic right now, that's fine. No need.
All right, that's fine. Okay, so anybody else? Doesn't seem like it. Okay. Nobody else wants to say anything, but Yacoob seems to want to have the last word, so
Yeah.
let's let him do that.
Hi, yeah. And I just want to say, I had yelling. I still don't believe I yelled, and if I did, I apologize. I never have intentions to yell, and for everyone that I may have hurt, I apologize. That is not me. I have never intentionally tried to hurt you, and this was all just the Gadari word stuff like that. That when she had done that, I was distressed and I was confused, and so I had just what anyone would naturally do, just search up the definition to see good definitions. But what I had used, because like she said, I had added it to her name. My friends who are Indian, who have Persian ancestry, they used it in a good way. So I had used it in a good way. I had no idea what the definition was, but
I mean,
yes.
I
So
think we've already heard pretty
oh, and
extensively on
yeah.
this topic.
Oh,
If
and
you have
then
anything
uh
else on that, you
oh,
can
yeah.
present it, but I don't want to keep repeating the
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah, no,
So,
I did not know that I had offended others. I had never intentionally tried to offend others and or kind of threatened to become authorship, like intentionally threatened to become authorship. I had said everything I said because I was upset, not in a threatening voice, but because in an upset voice it might have sounded threatening. I don't know. You guys could understand further, but from other occurrences where I not Valiant related, I don't like that's not who I am. And if I have unintentionally threatened you and I had never intended to threaten you, I apologize for that because I never do intentionally threaten people. And um yeah, and from the classroom, I don't under like I when I walked back in, there was no weird look. I had not seen weird looks for that. And yes, Jeannie, I had left when she had said she was uncomfortable, but yeah, I like that's not me. Like if I because there are a lot of things that I might or might have not unintentionally done, but intentionally I had never tried to yell. Intentionally I had never tried to make others feel uncomfortable, and intentionally I had never tried to do any of this. And that's all I have to say is that everything filed against me I either did not do or I did not intentionally do, or I did not have intention to do so. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Because I never intention to hurt anybody or make anybody feel uncomfortable. Um, I actually respect everyone. I have said it on, I actually do have messages that I could send to you as well, where I have said how much I respect Jeannie, Angie, Kelly, Raquel, Maka, and even in the if Trevor's in this meeting, even in the spec or not spec, but the thing we did with FPC, when I had spoken about all of the amazing members of Valiant Foundation and to everyone, if like to especially like Marcelli, you had heard me, I had spoken about Valiant and I had only said positive things about the foundation and everyone in the foundation, especially Jeannie, who I still believe to be one of the most magnificent women I have ever met. Um, how she, I don't believe I ever degraded Trevor. Like, yeah, during, like, yeah, I just said what I needed to be said, and yeah, and because I can certainly say that I'd never intentionally degraded Trevor. What was our meeting then spoke about the fundraiser, hurt Trevor's feelings because he wanted to. I went strictly off the slide. Hello, I went strictly off the slides, but I did talk about fundraiser to help the org get some more money to help others, to help the unhoused population, and especially a fundraiser with that with FPC because that was the first thing on my mind because I had believed that working with FPC, and I had told Maka uh, and Raquel this as well. I believe that working with FPC, we could get a lot of money to help on the outreach missions, and I had just given them the idea. And I did speak about it with FPC because we were in an FPC environment.
oh,
And
okay, I see. This
yeah,
is about, yeah, we're not considering those parts of the complaints yet, so that's not relevant to what we're doing. So we're not going to consider that from the complainant, and we're not going to hear responses to it. But if you have anything else that you want to say on the two issues that we are talking about, then go ahead.
Yes. Um, all of the stuff that I was accused of, I have either not done or I have never intentionally intended to do so. And I respectfully ask everyone to take that into account that I never intentionally tried to hurt someone or yell at someone or any of that. If I yelled at them, like, or if I even made them feel uncomfortable or hurt or even made them cry, I never intentionally tried to make them cry. Um, and I apologize if I did make them cry or did hurt them.
All right. Uh, it sounded like there were some other some other people who wanted to talk. I don't know if they still want to talk. Tessa mentioned something. Marcelli mentioned something.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that the whole situation with Trevor, I wanted to ask you, Jacob, like, is it being like used within this hearing or not? Because
No, no. So
okay,
there's too many things to consider in one hearing. This was an emergency series of measures that were taken to suspend somebody. We're holding a hearing sooner than we would to decide whether that stays in place. If we're convinced that those things happen, we might act on them. But the other issues, we have to investigate more before we do anything about that.
okay, thank you.
Okay. And so I don't know. Tessa said something about wanting to speak. I don't know if she still wants to speak. I don't hear anything. Marcelli mentioned something.
I
Do
was
either
more
of you have
just
anything to
opening
say?
up the floor, just asking if just anyone's allowed to say anything or ask anything.
Well, not just anyone's allowed to speak here. You have to be talking about something that's relevant, but if you have something additional that's relevant, then now's
I
the
meant
time to say it.
more so like public people that aren't
Everybody was provided the time and place for this. If there was anybody who wanted to speak, they could come and speak to the committee. If there's anybody else here who wants to say anything, then now's the time.
Yeah, I just want to close off just saying I don't believe I had done any of what I'm being accused of, and or I had not intentionally done any of what I was accused of, and I can say that with certainty.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we appreciate that. So nobody else has anything. In that case, I'm going to have the members of the committee stay behind. Everybody else can go.